Lake District, England's largest national park, with its beautiful landscapes and quaint towns and villages such as Ambleside, Grasmere, and Windermere. Find out why many hail the Lake District as the most beautiful English national park. This place is also full of surprises, so we will share valuable travel tips with you to help make your visit as memorable as possible. We have so many unforgettable places to show you. Watch the entire video to see those locations you are not going to want to miss out on. Fall in love with the Lake District like we did. The Lake District National Park is located in the northwest of England in the county of Cumbria. It's about 300 miles north of London, but is easily accessible by car or by public transportation. There are also tour companies that can take you around. We'll share a list of these tour providers in the description. We started our trip by visiting Aira Waterfalls, which is one of the most spectacular waterfalls in the Lake District, but is easily one of the most accessible. It's located on the west side of Ullswater. Aira is surrounded by well-maintained walking trails, making it an easy walk to and from the falls. This is great if you are walking with a young family, but there are also some more popular challenging hikes in the area. There is a National Trust car park at Aira, and you can pay for your car park stay using cash or via an app. Before you reach the falls, there is a lovely stream that you cross, and this is a perfect spot for photography. For me, I just enjoyed stopping on the bridge and listening to the sounds of the water gently flowing. We came early in the morning, and it was perfectly nice and quiet. As you walk the circular trail, you will eventually be met by the loud sounds of crashing water and the sight of one of the most beautiful waterfalls in the area. Be careful as you walk towards the falls. It can be very slippery due to the mist and/or rain. There is a stone bridge above the waterfalls which allowed me to cross the falls to the other side. Visiting Aira offers a wonderful opportunity to experience the natural splendor of the Lake District, whether you're enjoying a leisurely walk, a picnic, or simply taking in the breathtaking views of the waterfall. On our first day in the Lake District, we were directed via the sat-nav down this extremely narrow and windy road called the Struggle. And oh boy, as soon as we started our drive down this road, we immediately understood the reason behind the name. We came to realize that it is a famously challenging yet scenic mountain pass road connecting Ambelside with the Kirkstone Pass. The route is approximately 4 miles, or 6.4 kilometers long, climbing steeply with gradients up to 20% in some sections. While the road is a tricky drive, it is also a perfect way to see stunning views of the surrounding fells and valleys. So, should you do the struggle? You should at least do it once, but take your time, don't rush, and just try to enjoy it as much as possible. Be especially careful in bad weather and be prepared for the tight corners and steep inclines. The Struggle is a memorable and rewarding route for those seeking a bit of adventure and stunning Lake District scenery. Whether driving, cycling, or exploring the surrounding area, it offers a unique and exhilarating experience. While driving down the Struggle, we took a left onto Hardknott Pass. The road was so treacherous and tricky to drive on, so we drove up as slowly as possible. Our destination on this road was the Hardknott Roman Fort, which are the remains of an old fort and its buildings that were built during the 2nd century. We then got back on the struggle, and a few minutes later we came across Tarn, a small mountainside lake that's perfect for a stroll, a swim, and taking amazing pictures. Before I continue, here's an interesting fact about the Lake District. Did you know that despite the name, there is technically only one lake in the Lake District? The larger bodies of water in this national park are more commonly referred to as meres or water, while small mountain lakes are referred to as tarns. We'll show you the only lake in the Lake District later in the video, together with having tea in an old train by this lake. On our way to Ambelside, we stopped at a pub in Langdale, the Lanty Slees, which used to be an illicit distiller of moonshine in the 19th century. After the stress of driving down the struggle and the Hardknott Pass, Adrian and I sat down to have a chocolate cake and glasses of one of our favorite cider brands. And the views just helped us relax even more. Just look how green and lush our surroundings were. There are a lot of sheep in the Lake District, and when we got there, lambing season had just finished. But speaking of sheep, check out these ones just chilling out at the doorsteps of these homes. They definitely gave us a chuckle. After a long day, we decided to just drive through Ambelside and come back early the following day. We then just drove to our rental to relax for the rest of the evening. We stayed in this lovely property in Ullswater, and I have to admit that our stay here was one of the highlights of our trip. Apart from the eco-friendly house and its comfortable amenities, our views were unbelievable. Apart from exploring the area, Adrian and I decided to visit the Lake District to seek some tranquility. And we searched long and hard to find a property that was easy to access, close to most attractions yet distant enough from the very busy and touristy spots of the Lake District. And this house gave us everything we needed and more. After relaxing with cups of tea, Adrian and I went to sleep to prepare for a jam-packed itinerary the following day. After a good night's sleep, it was surreal waking up to this, even on a rainy day. And look who was loitering just outside our bedroom. Good morning. We woke up early and drove back to Ambelside. As with much of the region, the name Ambelside was derived from Old Norse, literally translating to river, sandbank, summer pasture. And by the way, the next destination after Ambleside is perfect for Instagram. Make sure to keep watching to see where that is. Ambelside is set up to be a tourist hub with many B&Bs, pubs, restaurants, cafes, and plenty of shops selling everything from sports gear, candy, local delicacies to souvenirs, making it a perfect place to stay regardless of your reasons for visiting the Lake District. However, because of this, you will definitely notice some inflated prices when paying for things. Adrian and I walked around the town and just admired its old town charm. Many of the houses here are made of slate stone, which reminded us so much of the Cotswolds in a way. There are a few places to park in Ambelside, but they do fill up pretty quickly. We chose to park close to quite possibly the most iconic building in Ambelside. The Bridge House. This tiny house over Stockbeck is now a National Trust property and offers a glimpse into the area's history. Its design over water was originally intended to avoid taxes, which seems a pretty cool idea to me. Although small with only 2 rooms, visitors can explore the interior of the bridge house. Unfortunately, it was still closed when we got there. There is usually no fee to visit, but donations are always welcome. The bridge house may be a quick stop, but it's definitely worth a visit. We were on our way to leave Ambelside, and as we began to drive past the town center, we spotted a sign for some waterfalls. So, we decided to check it out, even if it wasn't in our original itinerary. And I am so glad we did. Behind the Salutation Hotel is a trail that leads to Ghyll Force, a spectacular 70-foot waterfall. Well, we promised an Instagrammable location, and this is it. Rydal Hall and Gardens. Rydal is located near Ambleside, and the Rydal Hall estate dates back to the 16th century. Parking can be hard to find here though. You can park on the road opposite the church, and a donation of at least £2 must be paid to do so. Or you could also park in the grounds, but the spaces are limited. If you do park here, ask for a day pass at reception. The hall itself is used as a conference and retreat center, but the gardens are open to the public, and this is something you are not going to want to miss. The gardens are beautifully maintained, and the highlights of the gardens are the grotto and the waterfall. Have you seen a better place for a picture? If you've been researching your trip, you've probably seen this already. The gardens also have a quiet area, which is intended for reflection and contemplation. I absolutely enjoy the gardens and seeing the variety of flowers and plants here. But my favorite parts were walking through this meadow full of wildflowers, and just watching the sheep graze and relax on the green. The cute little lambs were very adorable too. From Rydal Hall, we went for the short drive to Rydal Cave, which is a large cavern on the north side of Loughrig Fell, above Rydal Water. The walk to the cave is beautiful, though slightly strenuous, and definitely worth doing. Adrian and I took our time during our stroll to the top. The sounds of birds singing and the sight of bluebells everywhere made the walk truly enjoyable. And a quick stop before reaching the peak was worth it. Adrian and I just sat there for a while, enjoying the view of Rydal Water. Rydal Cave is actually man-made as a result of slate quarrying. When you reach the cave, consider taking the stepping stones through the entrance to the shallow pool of water. The cave is actually an abandoned 19th century slate quarry. On a beautiful day like today, taking pictures from within the cave was ideal. The stark contrast of the cavern against the bright backdrop provided a dramatic effect to the pictures we took. After visiting the cave, we walked further up the hill to enjoy this stunning panoramic view of Rydal Water. Our next stop was Tarn House. We specifically picked this location for a hike because it was extremely accessible with well-paved pathways. Tarn House is one of the most beautiful and popular destinations in the Lake District, known for its picturesque scenery and tranquil environment. Tarn House is located between the villages of Coniston and Hawkshead in the Lake District National Park. It is easily accessible from Ambelside. As with everywhere in the Lake District, parking was a bit of a challenge, but we did come towards the middle of the day. You can do the 1.8-mile circular walk, which is relatively flat, so it's suitable for pushchairs and wheelchairs. After relaxing for a few minutes on the water's edge, we continued our walk and made a quick detour. I'm so glad we did because we came across this beautiful stream. Surprisingly, we were the only ones who were here and no one seemed to know about the stream's existence. At any rate, we enjoyed the peace and quiet and just listened to the soothing sounds of the water flowing down the stream. Adrian and I continued to walk on the pathway and took pictures along the way. And as we followed the stream, we came across the Ghyll waterfall. After another jam-packed and exhausting day, Adrian and I retreated back to our house in Ullswater and just enjoyed the peace and quiet. The following morning, we made sure to fill up before leaving the house as we knew we had a busy day ahead. Afterwards, we headed to the market town of Keswick, which is one of the main hubs for tourism in the Lake District. Like many traditional English towns, it has a number of bars, cafes, and shops, and also a local distillery. Markets are held here on Thursdays and Saturdays. Apart from the town center, Keswick is also a great location for slow walks along the river or even a hike. And should you need some additional equipment, there are a number of outdoor activity stores close by. We decided to get some tea and some breakfast here before embarking on the rest of our day. We didn't do this, but one very popular attraction is the theater by the lake. They have a number of plays, musicals, and performances, which is well worth checking out. Unfortunately, when we visited the theater, they didn't have anything on, but we will definitely make sure to watch a show the next time we visit. Windermere is the largest natural body of water in England, measuring at 11 miles in length and 1 mile at its widest part. It is one of the most popular destinations in the Lake District. Aside from the lake, the surrounding area offers a wide range of things to do. If the weather is nice, you'll probably want to spend it on the lake, either by renting or rowing a boat, or by taking a boat cruise. You'll find plenty of places to rent boats and canoes along the waterfront. There are a few spots and parks for picnics and walks. Adrian and I grabbed an ice cream cone at one of the many ice cream shops here before strolling along the water. And if you're interested in learning more about the 200-year history of boating in Windermere, the Jetty Museum is a perfect place to visit. If you're a fan of the show Outlander, then visit Bray Castle. A few episodes were filmed here. The castle was built for a surgeon from Liverpool, James Dawson, who used his wife's fortune to do so. The World of Beatrix Potter is a great museum for families with young children. This family-friendly attraction brings Beatrix Potter's beloved characters to life with interactive exhibits and beautiful displays. Adrian and I paid a visit since we both grew up reading Beatrix Potter's books. However, I would probably give this a miss if you are not aware of Beatrix Potter or if you don't have small kids. The attraction is open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and kids under 2 can go in for free. Inside is also a cafe, and every summer a Peter Rabbit themed play can be seen at the adjacent Old Laundry Theatre. There are also plenty of pubs and restaurants here, and while we were there, we went to have some tapas at a local Spanish-themed pub. Windermere, although very busy especially during peak seasons, is a definite must when visiting the Lake District. It has everything you need. The Lake District is very well known for its breathtaking beauty, but our next stop was something we didn't really expect when we finally reached it. Why? because it was breathtakingly beautiful. And I guess that's why it's called Surprise View. On our way there, it was the usual trick of navigating the smaller roads and being patient. A quick stop halfway up the drive to Surprise View is the famous Ashness Bridge. This pack-horse bridge dates back to the 18th century, when goods were transported on the backs of horses. It has a 19th century parapet and was widened in the 20th century. Well, if you ask me, it's still pretty narrow. This is a really narrow bridge. We stopped to enjoy the view and take some beautiful pictures of this wonderful area. We then continued our drive up the winding road. While the drive can be a little nerve-wracking for those unfamiliar with smaller roads, the rewards are well worth it. And this is Surprise View. The views over Derwent Water are spectacular. On a clear day, you can spot Bassenthwaite Lake in the distance. Remember at the beginning of this video we said that there is only technically one lake in the Lake District despite its name? Well, this is it. Ta-da! Bassenthwaite Lake. We didn't spend much time here though. However, there is one place that we visited here that you should consider adding to your itinerary too. The Bassenthwaite Lake Station. Situated where the railway once stood, this French steam engine train is now a cafe. But here's an interesting fact. This train is actually a replica. It was used in the Kenneth Branagh film Murder on the Orient Express and was widened to fit in the camera crew. Anyway, Adrian and I didn't have a reservation, so we just enjoyed an afternoon tea. If you wish to dine here, I would suggest making a reservation online. A lot of people visit the Lake District because of William Wordsworth, the great romantic English poet. Now people come to the area to see where he lived, grew up, and was eventually buried. Grasmere is one of those areas where tourists flock to. It's a picturesque village in the heart of the Lake District, renowned for its literary connections to Wordsworth, beautiful scenery, and cultural attractions. St. Oswald's Church is a historic church that features the graves of William Wordsworth, his wife Mary, and other family members. The church is also home to the Wordsworth Daffodil Garden, which was opened in 2003 in honor of Wordsworth's famous poem, The Daffodils. The object of the garden is to raise funds to promote the heritage of Grasmere and its traditional customs. Entrance to the garden is free, but visitors may sponsor a personally engraved lakeland slate, paving stone, shrub, or a wild daffodil. Grasmere is also famous for Sarah Nelson's Grasmere Gingerbread shop. It's a unique, spicy, sweet gingerbread, very different to the gingerbread you may be familiar with.
More like a cake, not like a cookie.
This shop is a must-visit for a taste of a local delicacy. It is now so well known that there are often long lines to get in. To avoid the long lines, Adrian and I came very early, minutes before it opened, and we were the first ones to get in. And just as we were about to leave, the crazy lines had already formed. The shop is open every day from 9:15 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. There are several car parks in the village, including the main pay and display car park near the village center, which is where we parked. Grasmere Lake offers a peaceful setting for walking and boating. Rowing boats can be hired for a leisurely experience on the water. There is also a very scenic 3.5-mile circular walk around the lake, which is suitable for all abilities. I have to admit that Grasmere is probably the town that we liked the most. I guess it helped that we got there early and we were able to enjoy the surroundings while it was still quiet. We also came across this lovely shop called Grasmere Gather. which sells artisanal products from producers within Cumbria and the UK. In addition to this, there is a cafe with the most gorgeous reclaimed wood chairs next to the store. It was a perfect place for having a quick snack or breakfast with pastries, including gluten-free ones, delicious coffee, and yummy Cumbrian ice cream. Overall, Grasmere is a place you should not miss when visiting the Lake District. We also ventured to Cockermouth, a market town just outside of the Lake District, to visit Wordsworth House, a Georgian townhouse where William Wordsworth was born. William Wordsworth and his family lived here rent-free until he was 8 years old, when his mother Anne Cookson sadly passed away. Walking around the house gave us a sense of how life was lived back then, complete with mementos such as original items of clothing, toys, quills, sheets of paper, and other objects used for writing. In the back, there is a small yet lovely garden with a variety of plants, flowers, and fruit trees. While the stone circle at Stonehenge is the most popular one in England, Cumbria has a couple of the most popular ones too. Castlerigg stone circles is one of them, which dates back to 3000 BC during the Neolithic period. This is located within the Lake District and is free to see. Interestingly, the further north you go, the older the stones are. Castlerigg has beautiful panoramic views of the mountains of Helvellyn and High Seat. It is widely believed that Castlerigg is one of the earliest stone circles. While not specifically in the Lake District, the Neolithic stone circle complex at Longmeg and her daughters in Hunsonby is one of Britain's most enigmatic and important prehistoric sites. Hunsonby is located to the northeast of Penrith, so it's a relatively short drive from the lakes. These stone circles are a short walk from the car park, but it's an idyllic walk down a typical English country lane. After we finished, we made the trip to Little Meg. Honestly, we would advise giving this a miss, as it's very small. If you do want to see it, it's close to the road, so it won't take much additional time. The Bowder Stone is a large andesite lava boulder that is believed to have fallen to its current location about 10,000 years ago. It is a 15-minute walk from the National Trust car park, and to help your sat-nav locate it, this is the postcode you need to use. It's on the Keswick to Borrowdale Road, near Grange. While there isn't much to do here, what sets it apart is a staircase allowing visitors to climb to the top, and which has been there since at least 1890. Thankfully, the staircase has been updated several times since then. It's a beautiful walk to the stone, and on the way there, we spotted the stone cottage that used to be a shop, but is now being leased by the National Trust to a mountaineering club. While we were there, we spotted a few fighter jets above us. That noise was deafening. Visiting the Lake District is such a magical experience, and we would like to share some tips that we have learned either the hard way or by researching ahead of our trip. And here are some of them. If you're planning to see a lot of the National Trust attractions during your stay, I suggest signing up for an annual National Trust membership. All of the entry fees add up, and most of the time, a one-time payment for an annual membership to the National Trust would end up being cheaper. Plus, you'll get free parking for most attractions. The Lake District is a very popular destination for tourists, and it can get very busy. I suggest doing some of the most popular destinations early in the morning or later in the evening. Because of its remoteness, cell reception in some areas can be slow or non-existent. If you need to download something, do it before you get on your drive or walk. Most towns have strong reception, but some areas can be quite remote. The Lake District is also one of the rainiest places in England. The weather can be unpredictable. Make sure to bring at least a rain jacket or a small umbrella with you. If you need to do a big shop, make sure to do so before entering the national park. There are no major supermarkets in the Lake District itself. However, they do have smaller convenience stores like Tesco Express, Co-op, or Sainsbury's Local. A lot of the lakes is accessible by public transport. This does limit you a bit to where you can go, but if you don't feel like driving, then public transportation or joining guided tours are other options you can take. Driving in the Lake District requires a bit of skill and familiarity with English countryside roads when driving to a lot of the popular attractions. A lot of the roads are narrow and may seem to have only one lane, but are actually two-way roads. This will also involve a lot of reversing in order to give way to oncoming cars, especially if you are closer to the turnoff than the other driver. Nevertheless, whether you drive, take public transport, or take part in tours, enjoy the scenery. It's guaranteed that the Lake District will provide you with some of the most memorable drives you'll ever see in your entire life. I wish our time in the Lake District was longer. What a fabulous place. Without doubt, we will be returning and spending longer here. Thanks so much for watching, and we can't wait to see you again soon. We have some great destinations coming up, so if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Stay curious and keep exploring.